Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, What Happens to the Self When the Body Dies? Is basically a question someone asked. And the question is, Hi Nick, thanks for your videos, very helpful. Is there anything to say about the experience of the self when the body dies? Does the experience stop then? Or does experience remain without thoughts, emotions? Or is it simply difficult to say anything about it? Well, it's not difficult to say anything about it. It is impossible to say anything about it because the self simply is, and that's it. Let's use another analogy here. What happened to the sky when the clouds disappear? Nothing. Assuming that the clouds are like bodies, right? When a body appears, a cloud appears, the sky is. When the body disappears, the cloud disappears, the sky is. Maybe the cloud can experience sadness, happiness, or all kinds of emotions, but in the end, the sky is the space in which the cloud seemed to appear and disappear, so nothing happened to the sky. What happened to the screen when you project a movie onto it? Nothing. What happened to the screen when you don't project a movie onto it? Nothing. Yet the content of the movie may have all sorts of images and emotions and scenes, but the screen itself is not affected by any of it. Well, the self simply is. The self, which is a space in which everything seems to manifest, is not affected at all by the movement, by the manifestations, by anything. Emotion seems to appear, sensations seems to appear, but that has nothing to do with the self. It does not affect the self at all. The self simply is. You see? It's like asking, what happens when the body dies? Well, let's say you go to bed at night. What happens when you fall asleep and go into the sleep? You cannot answer. That'll be the equivalent of saying what happens when the body dies. You see? We can speculate, and that's usually what happens. People speculate and have beliefs about, well, when the body dies, this happened or this may not happen or whatever the case may be. Some may talk about, past life, future life, and they said, yeah, I remember when I was, and that's fine, I'm not here to argue with that, but that remembering that we're talking about, or the person is talking about, it's just a thought in the present moment experience. What's the difference between me saying, well, I remember, or I had the vision that I was Napoleon, 500 years ago, and I remember when I was 12 years old, I learned how to ride a bike. What's the difference between the two? None. They're just thoughts appearing or seeming to be appearing in the present moment experience. But what is your experience? Your experience is this. You see? If you don't engage the mind with all the speculations and ideas or anything, all that there is this. And this is what the videos are pointing to within the realm of experience that we seems to be having. But questions about what happened with the self, if the body dies or whatever, it means nothing to me, you see. What matters to me is this right now. And if you don't identify with the content of the mind, then you experience the peace that passes all understanding. And in the peace that passes all understanding, which is the background, all sorts of emotions can happen. All sorts of sensations, all sorts of thoughts, but none of that is a distraction to what you are, you see? And right now you are being, it's beingness. And this is it, this is where all this is pointing to. So the self is what you are. What being superimposed upon the self is thought. And the thought is the one that describe and try to give meaning to things and come up with all sorts of stories and imaginations and everything. But in reality, all that there is what is. And this is the ever-present, permanent, non-conceptual, never-changing self that you are. not as a body, not as a person, it just as is. And then observe how it all unfolds, or seem to unfold, in what is, which would be the self. You see? So as you can see, there's no answer to your question. The self simply is. And that's it. End of story. Well, I hope this served, and I hope, as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.